Welcome back to the Bernard Lee Poker Show. We are talking with the 2017 World Series Main Event Champion as he celebrates his 5th anniversary of his win, as we are kicking off the 15th anniversary celebration here of the Bernard Lee Poker Show. Scott Blumstein joins us once again. We talked about during the first part of our interview about the memories, really talking about all those hands that we had at that final table, especially that epic hand versus John Hesp, the aces versus ace 10 on an ace 10 flop, turn. The 10 came on the turn, and obviously an almost three-handed kind of all in when they were three-handed, almost a double elimination, but it wasn't meant to be, but still didn't matter. $8.15 million. And of course, the diamond encrusted bracelet. Where's the bracelet? Where do you have it?
Around people. There's a couple. The general population, the questions I get asked, it's like the same question every time, and that's always, where's the bracelet? It's like, first of all,
you don't need to know.
Yeah, first of all, you don't need to know. Second of all, if anyone's seen it, you can't. What am I going to do with it? It's like like a practical thing ever. It's not like a super. You can't wear it. People are like, oh, you wear that thing? I would wear that thing to the club. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. You'd be an idiot to do that.
It is a little bit much, that one. Like a normal bracelet, I mean, you could wear it. Like, it's not that big. This one, it's like Wonder Woman bracelet kind of big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not. You got to put it in the security deposit box and just leave it there for.
I can't. Whatever. I'm not like Sauce Gardner. You see Sauce Gardner last night with his sauce gold. I guess you could. I mean, if they're rocking ice like that, it's just not. No, so it just sits in a box, unfortunately, and it's tricky, but what a cool prize to have, and even if it doesn't see the light of day very often.
Right. So talk a little bit about what you've been doing since. Again, like I said before, I saw you at Turning Stone. I know that used to be your old hunting grounds because you grew up on the East Coast, New Jersey, and Turning Stone is just kind of a few hours up north. But what have you been doing? You've been playing a lot, obviously you obviously played at Turning Stone recently, but what else have you been doing with regards to the world of poker, or even outside of the world of poker?
So I just had my 30th birthday, a couple weeks ago now.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're old man now.
I know. Right. So, you asked me what I've been doing. Well, it's like, okay, when I won this thing at 25, I felt pretty young at the time. And I think, that's pretty young, So I was like, all right, well, you have some time to kind of figure out what it is you want to do with your life, right? Well, now here we are. I always said 30 was the number, I think, where I was like, okay, you can have some fun till you're 30, go keep playing some poker, but then by 30, you should really have it figured out. Then a kind of a pandemic hit, which is a little bit of an excuse. But here we are, and it's tricky, right? So I've been spending my time doing a mixture of things. I do play a little bit of poker, but probably not as much as people think. Maybe the occasional live tournament. I've never been much of an online player anyway. So, now that the pandemic's over, I'm starting to travel a little bit more. And like you said, Turning Stone, and Vegas is pretty good. We have some good series out here, even when the World Series is not going on now. So,
and you live in Vegas now. Now you move to Vegas.
Correct.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the occasional poker tournament. And then the other thing I've done was I picked up golf, the great game of golf.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Which is just a challenging endeavor, We
need to play this summer when I come out to the World Series. We need to play. I like it. I'll bring my clubs. I love it.
That's it. But you got to, if I'm going to spy you strokes in golf and pickleball. You're giving me strokes in every single thing we compete in.
I don't, so. It sounds ridiculous. And people always say it because I play poker. They're like, oh, you must gamble all the time on the golf course. I'm telling you, I play weekly group on Sundays and I play one or two times during I don't really gamble on the golf course. I play. For me, what's so great about golf is that it's really, you're not playing against anybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't honestly matter who you are playing against. You're really playing against yourself, right? So you really want to focus. And so every once in a while, somebody will be, I have a buddy who every once in a while will be like, okay, I'll bet you a soda, just nothing. We're like, I'll bet you. So the other day he was like, I'll bet you $1.
Right.
You give me half a stroke and we play the hole out. Right. So if we both par, he wins, that kind of thing.
Well,
and he's like, I want to get your blood pumping. And I go, I'll be honest with you. That's not getting my blood pumping. Like I'm worried about that already. Like I'm already always trying to get par, birdie or whatever. I'm a single digit handicap. So like, that's what I'm always trying anyway. So to me, I don't care who I play with. There's a couple of guys that I play with every once in a while. They can't break 100. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's different. Pickleball is a little bit different because you have to play with people who are decent, or else it's really not fun. But golf is a completely different thing. So I love it. I love playing golf. So
it's finding that balance. That's what I'm saying, right? You definitely don't want to gamble too big, especially when you're, even with a handicap, it's like the worse you are, it's still hard to.
Right. Of course. You have all the pressure. The other problem is that when you are a low handicap, you're never an advantage because you're never getting the strokes. Right. You're never getting strokes. You get a bogey, you're going to lose the hole.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Right.
But good. So you're probably going to make a par where it's like, even if you are a 20 handicap, it's hard. Yeah. It's still hard to make bogey, but I'm getting better, and I actually found the sweet spot. Now I just give my buddies like the perfect amount of action, $50, and I even get it in bad knowingly,
right.
Because that's how I want to push myself to get better, if that makes any sense, right? Bad, but now I just tied him the other day, and I'm like, okay, like I've been getting it in bad, but it worked because now I got to where it's like probably fair, right? So
yeah, we'll play and we'll go through a couple things because I've helped a few people out.
Give me. Cool. Like I said, I'm a good crammer. So the night before,
that's right. I love it. Have you kept in touch with the guys at all? Like any of those guys do you keep in touch with, or when you see them, there must be a camaraderie amongst all of you guys. I've been at a bunch of final tables. Covering them for ESPN and been fortunate that in 2010, that World Series final table in 2011 came to Foxwoods for a reunion, and I helped get them all there. So I can see a lot of the camaraderie among some of the players, but some tables have more than others. Obviously, proximity to, like, if some tables have a lot of people in the U.S. Or North America, it's easier, or they're, I don't want to say necessarily all pros, but they all kind of know each other, that kind of thing. How is the camaraderie among your final table?
Yeah, a couple things are in play. I mean, like I said, we're the first one not to have the November 9. So I think those 2 months of doing media and, they a lot of those guys would do junkets together. So I think we kind of lost out on that, but it's good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say I'm best friends with anyone, but Dan Ott's a great guy, and
really nice guy.
Yeah, I kind of every now and then I catch myself like, you should reach out to Dan.
Yeah.
Every now and then we kind of catch up, and anytime we're at a tournament together, we always talk. So I love Dan, and it's always good seeing him. John was cool. Like when I went out to London for the first time.
Yeah,
with him and his son, and
nice.
We keep in touch every now and then too. It's hard. I mean, there was a little bit of an international flavor at our table too, right? You had Antoine and Ben who are overseas, and Jackson Clare is the England native. So
right,
any of those guys, when we see each other, it's always chummy. And Ben, I'm still waiting for Ben to take me out to Southern Highlands. We've talked about it a couple of times, but hopefully that comes into fruition now that I can kind of hold my own a little bit. But yeah, and Brian too. I've hung out with Brian. We actually walked the Shriners Open together. So nice. Yeah, it's cool. That's what I'm saying. It was a great group of guys. It really was. We at the time it was cool because everyone was kind of relaxed and we there was no animosity or anything. So great group of guys, and I look forward to doing some reunion. Hopefully, maybe our 10-year. I don't think 5 years is going to happen, but
no, it sounds good.
10-year reunion. You got to organize. That's I'm challenging you to put it together.
Get a casino and a budget. No problem. Been there, done that. It took it honestly took a year off my life. I mean, that's how much work it was.
Yeah.
And
like I said,
And the
It's gonna be
day
hard.
and the week of it was unbelievable itself, but it was a lot of fun. That group of guys I have a lot of affinity for because and also like a couple of them I knew really well. I knew Racner beforehand. Mizrahi has been a good friend already. So obviously I got to know a lot of those guys really well. So it worked out. Jarvis and I still talk a good amount. He's actually really into pickleball these days too. So it's worked out. For those of you who are wondering why we keep mentioning pickleball, if you haven't been on my social media, I actually have gotten very into pickleball, so much so that I, for better or worse, won a tournament in Connecticut. So if you get a chance, you can follow me on pickleball now. It's B Lee Pickleball on Twitter, Instagram, everything. And I actually have a YouTube page now, which I'm starting videos and all that, and kind of a journey. So follow me there. That would be great.
You're a vlogger now. You're a vlogger now.
For better or worse, I've been doing it here in the world of poker. Might as well do it in the world of pickleball. I'm going to start interviewing some players, some really high, like we're talking top 10 players in the world. So it's a really kind of a cool thing, and it's a new world. So that's why I know some people are probably like, what are we talking pickleball so much for? So that's kind of where that's come from. Talk about the World Series. It is right around the corner, 2022. Gonna be at Bally's Paris or Horseshoe Paris. What is your plans? Are you going to be out there for a good amount? Are you going to be out there? Obviously you live in Vegas, so it's literally just hop, skip, and a jump. But are you going to be there playing a lot of the events? Are you, picking and choosing? I would assume the main event is a given, but talk a little bit about what the plans are this year.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The irony is that as a local, I feel like the move was worse for me. I think it's going to be great for people coming into town, staying on the strip, the convenience. Now I have to cross Las Vegas Boulevard, which is never fun. I think a lot of people are going to take for granted the what the Rio meant for us, having our own dojo,
parking lot outside. I've said this all the time. People are like, oh, it'd be so much better than the strip. I have said this from the beginning. Go backwards in time. I have said it. People don't realize that having this off of the strip, it's a huge parking lot all the way over there. And I know people hated being in the Rio and all that kind of stuff, and they criticized it. I'm going to tell you, when you're staying in the Bally's rooms and they're a normal hotel room and not a big hunkin' suite like it was at the Rio, everyone's going to now suddenly start saying, oh, I missed the Rio. I know it. I know people are going to start saying it. And I will too. I mean, staying in those rooms, I stay for 2 weeks at a time. I love the fact that the Rio, we could spread our crap everywhere. You have a couch over here. You have a couple people come up. You want to take food out and just sprawl it out everywhere. I just, you have a break, you come up, 2 or 3 people hanging out, grab a beer. Like, that was a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot different. And who knows how far everything is too. Like, if you're staying in Bally's, is that annoying that a lot of it in Paris? If you're staying in Paris, is et cetera. So it'll be interesting. I'm, like I said, I'm staying there. I've already booked my trips, and so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But
the grass is always greener. You know how it is, right?
100%. And there'll be good things about this too. There will absolutely be really good things about this as well. And listen, the positives are you are on the strip, right? So you want to go and have a really nice dinner somewhere. You pop on over to Caesars, you pop over to Bellagio, you want to go down to Aria, wherever it might be, there are going to be a tremendous amount of positives. Please don't think
like I said, for people that don't live in Vegas, I think that's true. Yeah. So I think it's going to be cool. I mean, it's an interesting change. And right now, the only certainty for sure is the main event. I'm not going to miss that.
Sure.
But other than that, I don't really have a plan. We'll see. I never really look at it like that. I definitely don't think I'm going to be playing too many events. Probably take the over under 6.5. Let's call it.
Wow.
I've always been like that. I mean, even when the year I won, I only played one of. I came out for 1 week. I think I've always been a quality over quantity guy. Especially in tournament poker. It's like, you get burnt out, man. You think about it. You make level 20, you make level 20 and you get to 5K, 10K big blind, you bust, and the next day you got to go back to 25, 50. You know, it's tough.
Exactly. That always has been a difficulty for me, making a final table in an event and then coming back and playing. So when we were at Turning Stone, I made a final table. I ended up finishing 7th.
Right.
And we were done late, and something has, I think we were done at like 1 or 2 in the morning, whatever it was. And I actually decided the next day I could have played in an event. And I decided, you know what? I'm actually going to take the day off. Ironically, I'm going to go play pickleball. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I found a place in Syracuse and I actually played in the tournament there. So I went in and played pickleball, took the whole day off, and then came back. And the next day I almost cashed again, so it was, I think I agree with you. It is really hard when you're playing, like you said, final table, 20,000, 40,000. And then you're like, okay, 1-1-1 big blind. Like,
yeah. Even
totally
though you don't even have the final table, even just going, a little bit
deep. Yeah.
I mean, just a psychological ability to realize that, okay, now you're back at 25, 50 playing 100, 200 big blinds deep, and you gotta, but
you want to kind of get back to that other one, and sometimes you play too quick or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You force the issue
exactly. You force the action for no reason. Yep, I agree.
So, I'm just gonna pinpoint a couple that I like, when I feel like playing, and go out and try to win a bracelet. It's kind of thankfully I'm lucky enough to have the luxury of doing that, and that should be the goal for everyone. And so I'm that's kind of how I see it. But it'll always be nice. It's always good to just have WSOP back, having a bunch of friends in town and getting to see some familiar faces and it's definitely harder to golf in the summer out here with the 125.
First week, right around Memorial Day week, it's okay. If you get off at like 6:30 in the morning, you're done by 10:30, and it's not that bad. It might be like 95, but it's not crazy. But midsummer, I'm going to be there. Unfortunately, in the midsummer, that just gets a little too hot.
We'll figure it out.
You're waking up at 85.
A.m. I feel like you could be a 9 a.m. kind of guy, right? I mean, you can get
9 a.m. By that point, it's at 1 p.m. You're playing at 110 degrees. I'm not playing at 110 degrees, bro. There's no way.
30, we're going out. All right.
Scott Blumstein, 2017 World Series Main Event Champion. Thank you so much for joining us and reliving that memory and celebrating the 15th anniversary of the Bernard Lee Poker Show here, my friend. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Congrats on 15 years. It's pretty ridiculous that you've been in the game this long, and I'll see you out on the course in the court.
I love it. Scott Blumstein here, 2017 World Series Main Event Champion. Come back. We are going to have more interviews celebrating. We're going to have other World Series Main Event Champions too, and we're going to preview the 2022 World Series Main Event. And as always, may you always go in with the best hand, and may you never get unlucky. Good night, everybody. Also here, if you are watching on YouTube, I hope you have enjoyed this interview. We have many other interviews coming up, and you don't want to miss any of them. So please like and subscribe down below, and you won't miss any of the interviews. Thanks, everybody.